many of you think you're smart and intelligent people? Raise your hands. Thank you, that's half of the room. And how many of you think you're not smart and not intelligent? Raise your hands. Thank you for the honesty. Now here is the secret. Smart people remain stuck most of the time. And this is not about the resources, skills or knowledge. It is more about who you are as a person. And a lot of us know the statistics, 70% plus of the businesses which start gets shut down in the first 5 years. It has nothing to do with the skills or resources, because today's world has a lot of skills and resources and there's means to go and chase it. In spite of that, why does this happen? There is a problem, and in the problem oda பேர் வந்து கொஞ்ச நேரம் கழிச்சு நான் சொல்றேன். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் ஒரு கான்டெக்ஸ்ட் செட் பண்றேன். எண்ணம் போல் வாழ்க்கை அப்படின்னு நம்மளோட பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சொல்லி நம்ம அடிக்கடி கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம், ரைட்? நான் வந்து லைஃப்ல சக்சீட் ஆவேன் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சேன்னா என்னால சக்சஸ்ஃபுல் ஆக முடியும். இது வந்து ரொம்ப ஈஸியா சொல்லிடுறாங்க. ஆனா எல்லா வாட்டியுமே நம்மளுடைய தாட்ஸ்ல நம்மளுக்கு கண்ட்ரோல் இருக்கா? Is every thought that we get, is it empowering? Or do you also have disempowering thoughts, and where does it actually come from? இப்போ பிலீஃப் லூப்னு ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு. உங்களுடைய தாட் will lead to feelings, உங்களோட feelings will lead to your actions. எல்லாரும் உங்களுக்கு லாஜிக்கலா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. இதை பண்ணு, கம் அவுட் ஆஃப் த கம்ஃபர்ட் ஜோன் அப்படின்னு சொல்றது ரொம்ப ஈஸி. பட் we are not logical beings, we are biological beings. We are puppets of our emotions, right? When we feel like doing something, we do it. When we don't feel like doing something, we don't do it. It's as simple as that, right? But where does this feeling come, and how can we start taking control of this? இப்போ நான் இங்கே உங்கள் முன்னாடி இப்படி பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கேன். இஃப் ஐ ஆம் இன் த தாட் தட் யூ நோ வாட், ஐ லவ் டு கனெக்ட் வித் பீப்புள், ஐ லவ் டு மோட்டிவேட் பீப்புள், ஐ லைக் டு அப்லிஃப்ட் பீப்புள் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு தாட் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா என்னோட ஃபீலிங் எப்படி இருக்கும்? when I'm standing here, I have a feeling of excitement, right? I want to influence you guys, and then that feeling will lead to an action. நான் இங்கே ஸ்பீச் கொடுக்கும்போது I'll be fully present here, yes or no? And say if I am a person who has a fear of rejection, சே இப்போ யாராச்சும் அங்கே வந்து ப்ராபப்ளி உங்களுக்குள்ளே பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, இல்லை நீங்கள் வந்து ஃபோன் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கீங்க, இல்லை யான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு இருக்கும்போது வாட் வில் மை மைண்ட் திங்க்? த தாட் தட் மை மைண்ட் இஸ் ஜென்ரேட்டிங் இஸ், ஓ மை காட், மேபி மை ஸ்பீச் இஸ் not good, maybe my speech is boring, why is that they're getting disconnected? And then that will in turn create a feeling. What is that feeling? Feeling of anxiousness, feeling of fear, right? And then that will lead to another action. What is the action? I am disconnected from here. I'm only partially present. I'm still delivering a speech, but I'm only partially present here. Yes or no? So this thought, feeling and action, this is called the belief loop. சில பேருக்கு வந்து நிறைய குட் அண்ட் பேட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் சேர்ந்தது தானே லைஃப். நம்மளுக்கு நிறைய விஷயங்கள், நிறைய பேட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருக்கிறதுல வந்து ஒரு பிலீஃப் ஃபார்ம் ஆகும். A lot of people appreciate me saying that you're very good at connecting with people, you're good at speaking and all of that. But there was an experience that I had. ஒரு 4th standard படிக்கும்போது ஒரு டீச்சர் இருந்தாங்க. Her name was Miss Shanti. I still remember her very vividly because this lady was very rude and harsh and mean in connecting with the students. We were a classroom of 60 people. And அவங்க உள்ள வரும்போது we would all sit upright because we didn't know who she's going to point and start saying something which is very nasty. So one day she decides to call me. She's like, Manju, come here. And I'm already in a panic mode. I'm walking to the stage, and our school had this big podium. So this teacher was standing here and I was standing next to her. She's saying something and she's saying, tell this to the class. And I didn't know what it was. I was a smart student, but I didn't know what she was speaking. So she said something and I was panic stricken. I was standing there for some time, and after a while she starts yelling at me. She's like, you're such a hopeless, stupid child. You're not fit to stand in front of the room. You just wasted everybody's time. You will never be able to make for a good public speaker. And that experience was hardly for 2-3 minutes there, but that experience stayed back in my life. For the longest time, I shied away from any experience of me standing in front of a public and speaking. I was a very good communicator. Thankfully, I was in a very good school where communication was practiced very regularly. So I was very good at individual communication. But when you make me stand in front of a group, I would just shrink. I would just become this small. Because I took that belief from her that I am useless. I cannot influence people. And obviously, when you get into career, your managers push you towards growth. So some 10 years back, 2015, I had a conversation with my manager. My manager was like, you're ready for promotion, but your communication has to get better. I observe that you don't speak when you're standing in front of people, and you need to master that for your next promotion. So he asked me to go to this forum called Toastmasters. I went to Toastmasters as a visitor. I was just going to observe. I was sitting in the back row and somebody called me to the stage. They said, "Ma'am, this is your topic, just randomly speak." I obviously stood there. There were 25 people looking at me. Their eyes were pinned on me, and the fear of the rejection which Ms. Shanti gave me many, many years back, it came alive. It came alive, and I was just standing there doing nothing. And after 10 seconds, I said, "Sorry," and I walked away. The next meeting, I again go because my manager was behind my life to improve my communication skills. So I go the next week. The president of that club, his name was Mr. Dinesh. Dinesh said, "Manju, if you're not able to speak, it's fine. You have a speaking time of 1 minute. Go there, stand, experience that fear. Be there in that fear. Don't give in to that fear. Don't come back before 1 minute." So I stood there. That probably was the longest minute of my life. Because everybody's eyes are just boring in me. They were expecting me to speak something. And in between, I do remember opening my mouth and mumbling something. And it just became an experience for me that, okay, fine. Earlier, I was just shut. And now I just started speaking something. Maybe it didn't make sense for them. And Dinesh appreciated me. I went the third week again. And this time, the audience size was 85. They were having a celebratory meeting. So I was sitting on the last row thinking, oh, nobody's going to remember me. It's a celebratory meeting. But then this guy, Dinesh, was hell-bent on making me work on my communication skills. He calls me and he gives me the mic. Imagine the horror. Standing in the podium, 85 people seeing, holding the mic. My mic was shaking like this. And I don't know what I spoke. And this guy stands right here next to the stage and she says, "Stand there for 1 minute. Stand there for 1 minute." And he kept saying that. And that day when I walked back, my eyes were almost welled up. You know why? It was not because I was not able to speak relevantly. It was because I actually moved out of that experience, moved out of that identity which I kept giving myself, that I am not a capable speaker. Yes, I did not speak something relevant, but I stood there to experience that fear and I mastered it. And if I had mastered it that day, it was purely because of the coaches and mentors who were there to shape me up as a person. They constantly showed me the mirror. They showed me the mirror and say, "Hey, look at this. These are the parts of you that you are not seeing for yourself." One of the reasons why smart people fail is very simple. நம்மளுக்கு எல்லாமே தெரியும் நினைச்சு நம்ம நிறைய நாலேஜ் கத்துக்கிறதுக்காக போறோம், நிறைய விஷயங்களை வந்து தேடி தேடி போய் படிக்கிறோம். பட் எக்ஸிகியூஷன் வரும்போது, what is the identity that you're carrying for yourself? That matters the most. If you see yourself as a person who cannot do public speaking, you will not do public speaking. ஏன்னா அதுக்கேற்ற கம்பீட்டன்ஸை நீங்க தான் டெவலப் பண்ணிக்கணும். நீங்களே தனியா ஒர்க் பண்ணீங்கன்னா it is going to take many years. Instead, work with somebody who's a professional, who can help you, teach you, coach you on the skills that you need for you to grow. நம்மளுடைய belief வந்து இந்த மாதிரி thousands of beliefs வந்து நம்ம சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து we are carrying, and these beliefs is what making you run your life. Be it your health, be it your relationship, be it your wealth building, be it your business, be it your behaviors, anything that is there which is showing up in your life is based on the belief system that you have. Because my coaches and mentors inspired me so much, I decided to become a coach myself. 5 years before I became a coach, today I position myself as a mindset and a performance coach. And nothing gives me more joy than helping people break away from their identity and creating a new identity for themselves. You can check out my work in mindsetcoachmanju.com, and I'll just leave you with one note. All of us have a narrative and a story in our head about ourselves, about our behavior, about the world. It is your responsibility, if you want to become successful in any sphere of life, that you have to take accountability of flipping that story. As they say, fear and courage are two sides of the same story. Success and failure is the two sides of the same story. So your story, when you take accountability and flip it, magic will start happening. Thank you.